Oi, oi, boa noite todo mundo. Estamos aguardando todo mundo entrar, todo mundo ficar online. Coloquem as perguntas que vocês já tiverem aí no chat. Hoje a gente vai ter um palestrante que ele não é brasileiro, ele é costarricense, ele é da Costa Rica. Eu trabalhei com ele quando eu fiz um intercâmbio para Costa Rica, fiquei lá 4 meses e posso dizer que é um local muito especial, é uma empresa muito especial e eles vão poder falar de sustentabilidade com vocês e como que eles trabalham o conceito de sustentabilidade dentro da prática de um bananal, digamos assim. Então vamos aguardar só um pouquinho, acho que uns 5 minutos para a gente começar. E aí, as pessoas estão chegando. A gente vai aguardar mais 3 minutinhos. E quem está aqui assistindo, prefere assistir em espanhol ou em inglês? Comentem aí no chat, por favor. Se vocês preferem espanhol, misturado com o portanhol, ou se vocês preferem tudo em inglês. Ah, Larissa. Oi, amiga. A Larissa que está ali no chat dando oi, ela também trabalhou junto comigo lá no mesmo intercâmbio com o Felipe. E pode dizer no comentário aí em algumas palavras, o que você achou, Lari. Tá, ok. Vamos começar então. Bom, gente, de novo, boa noite. Esse é mais um webinar da Ampla. Nós queremos trazer um pouquinho para vocês de exemplos e de inspirações para que a gente desenvolva biotecnologias de verdade, biotecnologias plausíveis e que já estão acontecendo e que às vezes com um pouquinho de esforço e um pouquinho de modificação faz muita diferença. Para a live de hoje a gente vai receber o Felipe Vargas, é o CEO da Varcli Piñares, que é uma empresa de bananas, eles exportam para alguns países da Europa e Estados Unidos. É, e vocês vão poder conhecer a parte dele, o tanto que é incrível o trabalho. E eu gostaria que vocês já deixassem perguntas, se vocês têm dúvidas, questionamentos, e vão perguntando durante a live, que ao final a gente vai responder tudinho. Pode chamar agora o Felipe.
Perfecto. Hola, hola. Pura vida.
Olá, olá.
Bueno,
Então,
long time no see.
uh, English, yeah. People comment here to speak English, so
Perfect.
okay,
So today I'm
okay,
going to
fine.
try to do a italo-ingle portuñol. Então, eu vou procurar falar um pouquinho de português, que mais só um pouquinho. Ok?
Tá falando bem.
Very English, in my case.
Ok. Uh, Larissa is here. She's comment pura vida, Mari.
Pura vida.
You can introduce yourself and then you can start. I'm going to leave now.
Oh, okay, perfect. So
Yes.
actually, I do have a presentation that I prepared for some clients that we were trying to sell some bananas this week. So it's going to help me a little bit to empathize into the concept of what do we feel sustainability is, more than a concept, a way of living, actually. So in my personal case, well, my name is Felipe Vargas. I'm Costa Rican. I was born in 1987, so I'm something like 33 years of age, almost the the birth of Jesus Christ. So I'm a little bit nervous right now because I feel a little bit older than I felt like 2 or 3 years ago. I am a banana grower, exporter. That's what I have been doing the last 11 years. But things are a little bit different today than what they were 11 years ago. So I will start speaking a little bit about the banana business. How does it work? How has it been working for the last 140 years, which is a little bit long if you take on consideration how long have exporting or exportations been happening in the world, at least in the banana business. Also, or afterwards, I'm going to speak a little bit more about Varcli. What are we doing different, and which is the concept that we're trying to create. So, first things first, the first banana exports were made by my grandfather in the 1880s. So over 140 years ago. So thanks to this person who actually wasn't thinking about exporting bananas, but actually to make railroads that would connect the United States to Peru, where they thought the El Dorado location was. It was the first thing that happened, or that was the basic reason why minority came to Costa Rica. But the situation was complicated because in the tropical countries there were like, you know, gazillion amount of insects, so people died out of yellow fever, principally. So the first culture that came to Costa Rica were the Italians, which is actually a very strong population here in Costa Rica today. So all of them died. Actually, one of my clients today is like grandchild of a person who started building the railroad here in Costa Rica. The second culture that came were the Chinese. So actually in Costa Rica, well, I'm married with a Chinese girl. Ha! So the funny thing about that is that they came to Costa Rica. Well, basically, China people are going to every single place around the world. So basically, you can expect that there is going to be a Chinatown in any single country that you visit. Third culture that came, and actually the people were actually able to make the railroads in Costa Rica were the people, the Afro-Caribbean, yes, people that they came from the islands of the Caribbean. So they came as slaves. They were conveniently the only people who they spoke, how do you call it, like a particular language that is a mixture from French, English, Spanish. So they were actually able to communicate very well with the owners of the railroad companies from the United States, but they also came with the bananas. So the bananas were not discovered actually in Costa Rica, but they were discovered in countries such as the islands of the Caribbean. So what happened there first, or the important thing that happened there was that they needed a really easy to plant food that they could make while they were building the railroads. Somehow, one person of the United States, they tasted the bananas, they said, oh my God, this is a really good banana. And poof, the banana business started. So the name of the company that eventually became Chiquita, it was called the United Fruit Company. Basically, this concept of the banana business was so strong and it was so big that many countries were actually considered banana republics. So they were so Minor Kid basically became owner of countries such as Costa Rica, Guatemala, Ecuador, and other countries wherever the railroad went, almost 100 kilometers to the left and to the right, where the railroad crossed, they were owned by minor kids. And in these areas was where he was started planting bananas. So the funny thing about the banana business is that it's over 140 years of age. You would expect, plenty of innovations and that it would be like the most innovative business around. Actually, this was part of the things that I spoke with Rebecca eventually when she came to Costa Rica. Funny thing how biotechnologies are going to take over the world. I believe you're going to take over the world. But in the banana business, the problem has been that we haven't made an particularly important innovation through time. So Varcli came to make something different, to try to make an impact in the way banana business have been working for the last 130 years, because we have an 11-year-old banana plantation. So I started at the same time as Varcli in the banana business, and this is what I can speak to you about. I'm going to share the screen in order to try to help you. Okay, share screen. Let me see. Compartir. Right now, I'm able to tell you that whenever you want to say anything or basically um, make a comment, make a question, you can just, ask the question and I will try to answer it to you. So please do tell me if you're able to watch the presentation that I'm presenting right now. Hola, hola. Okay, let me see. Okay, excellent. Actually, this is the first time that I'm using this tool, because today people are creating things such as like WhatsApp, and then appears Zoom, and then Google Meetings, and so many things that you can actually see today. It's crazy how the pandemic of the coronavirus has changed everything or the way we do things. So answering to the questions that I was speaking before with Rebecca, I can say that we are Varcli. So the concept that we're trying to say is that we are sustainable beyond borders. So actually, if I have to say anything about the banana business, is that uh, it's really criticized by the way conventionally it has been working. Lots of pesticides, very bad practices, agricultural practices affecting the people that work in the banana business. So basically, we're the destroyers of the world. Well, that's somehow the way people have been watching us. Barclay came with a different concept, a completely different way of doing bananas. So when we speak about sustainability, we try to go further than what people usually expect or what people will usually think. So, what is sustainability? This is like the most important thing before we continue with the presentation. People are speaking today that it's not just enough to compensate the impact on the environment, because we have to regenerate for everything that all the people before us have been trying to do or to destroy. Interesting to see or to watch how the carbon footprint of the world literally went down by the situation of the pandemic. So it wasn't just the agricultural practices which were destroying the world, but actually many other things that we were doing in our cities, in our life. So sustainability must go further than that. Sustainability for us is based on three specific pillars. When we speak about a banana plantation, you will need to expect a high productivity, because you will never be able to give something to anyone as a gift if, first of all, you're not productive, if you don't have enough to maintain your necessities. The second concept around sustainability must always go around, obviously, protecting the environment and protecting the people and the society you are working in. And third, another very important aspect about sustainability is that it must always be quality-based. Whatever you do in your life, it doesn't matter what it is, you must try to be the best in what you're doing. So quality for Varcli is having the best bananas in the business, made cost effectively, and obviously trying to reduce to the most the impact to the environment and to the society in which we are working at. It's important to state where we located today. After this presentation, I can guarantee to you that you're cordially invited to our farm whenever the borders are open, obviously. It's located in Matina, in Limon. O sea, so in this little small country called Costa Rica, basically almost in the center of Limon is where you can find our beautiful farm. It's a 400-hectare plant, well, not banana plantation, it's a 400-hectare farm where we have 100 hectares for bananas, an additional project or expansion for 50 additional hectares. We have 40 hectares just for reforestation to reduce the impact or the carbon footprint of the farm. We also have 120 hectares for preservation of the wilderness, of the forest that we have, oh, of the jungle that we have here in Costa Rica. Additional to that, we have an additional, give or take, 90 hectares that are going to become a silvopastoral project in the future. Okay. My dad always told me, I'm going to just get out of the presentation for a moment just to see if we have any kind of questions of someone writing here. No, it's okay. Okay, when we speak about worldwide recognitions, originally, I had a phrase, like, if you don't speak what you do, you will never get anything to happen. Originally, when we started with Varcli 11 years ago, we were trying to do an impact in the society, an impact in the environment, but without a proper way of presenting our ideas. It was till 2016 when we started to try to present what we were doing to the rest of the world. So we have several recognitions, several awards that we have been acquiring since 2016 to 2020. The first one was the GAP Awards 2016, where we were recognized by the impact in the reduction of water consumption in the banana business, the work of women in our business, and also the way we work towards sustainability. 2 years after this GAP Awards 2016, we participated again for the GAP Awards. This was the first time a company won 2 times in a row this recognition. The GAP Awards 2018, they were measuring the reduction or the impact reduction or the reduction in the impact on the soils, where we also have some investments and some important projects that we are developing. Also, they were expecting for you to do some impact around the preservation of the wilderness and the youth in our business, which somehow in a way also enabled us to start this project of internships, which we have with ISEC. That way I met Rebecca and also Larissa. In 2018, we had a problem. There was a condition, a really complicated situation. We were not as, we had problems to sell our bananas. So actually, by the end of 2018, we lost a contract that we had with one of the transnationals, which name is Del Monte, and we had a problem. We had to sell our fruit, which is why we started participating on this type of contests such as the GAP Awards 2018 and the SEDEX Awards in 2019. Thanks to this participation, or thanks to this award that we received in 2019, which was presenting the whole concept of sustainability that I'm going to show you a little bit on, well, as we continue on the presentation, enabled us to get to new markets, to search for something different, to make this step of growing from intermediaries to going to the direct customer, which in our case is the retailers. 2019 was a very interesting year for us. I met these beautiful girls, Rebecca and Larissa, aside Anne-Marie, aside Lisa, aside many other people who have come to our farm in order to have an experience around sustainability, in order to try to create this impact for the society and for the environment. In 2020, we participated in a contest of the German government, which is called Farm to Fork, which enabled us an award of something like $15,000, which we will spend on a dock for the turtles. We have an active participation with 2 NGOs. One is called La Reserva Pacuare, which is the second biggest hatching point for the leatherback turtle around the world. And also, we participated in a programa de crecimiento verde. This was made by Procomer, which is the promoter of exports in Costa Rica. And the project goes around trying to eliminate the concept of residual waters on the banana business. Okay. So, it's interesting how everything started with our business, because we were first in the world in several things that I'm going to start speaking to you right away. First, we created a new way to pack bananas, or to prepare bananas from the harvest to the packing, which is called the New Millennium Packing System. You will know that usually they use water tanks with over 200 cubic meters of water, which are being spent per day. That's a lot of water. We also need lots of chemicals in order to treat it, in order to prevent fungi and any other kind of pests to affect the bananas, which are going to be exported. Our New Millennium Packing System changed everything. So we removed out of the concept the idea of using water tanks, which enabled us to reduce, obviously, our impact or water footprint. We were the first to introduce a new way, a different way to do the harvesting process, by which we do the handing on the field. This process is called piñateo. The funny thing about this process is that we once received a group of over 35 banana growers from Brazil, which came to our farm. That was the first time that eu procurei falar pouquinho de português. Really bad experience, I have to admit, because I didn't know anything about Portuguese in that moment. So the thing around piñateo is that they made a video, which almost became viral on Facebook, on the way that we did the harvest. Actually, if you start searching a little bit around it, it has something like 11 million views, which is quite amazing. In my personal case, we didn't expect that to happen. But also, you can watch some videos that we have on YouTube, where you will find several different ways in which, or several practices that we're doing really different from the rest of the world. Regarding our food or water footprint and our electric footprint, we have the lowest available in the banana business. Thanks to our New Millennium Packing System, we reduce our water footprint to less than 5 liters per banana box, against the over 200 liters that are being used in regular banana systems. So this is a reduction of over 97% in that specific footprint. Regarding our electric footprint, we were the first company, or the first banana company in the world, to own an off-grid solar energy system. So we work solar. Thanks to that, and thanks to the way that we're doing business in our packing house, we spend less than 5 kilowatts per hour, which is actually more or less what you would expect to spend in a regular house. It's very important for us projects for this year. We also have 0 organic residues, thanks to our harvesting system. We have a new project, which I already mentioned, of 0 residual waters. I already mentioned, of course, the off-grid solar energy banana system. And we also are interested in trying to go further in the concept of sustainability. As I mentioned, it's not just the environment, it's also the society. So we participated in the first fair wage study for the banana industry in the world. So we were part of the first 5 companies to be studied regarding this matter. When we speak about innovations, okay, I once made a list of things that we do different in Varcli than any other banana company in the world. So I made a list of over 23 different projects that we had. I'm going to present just by name, maybe explain a bit. Eventually, if someone has questions, I can further on the concept. But first of all, obviously, the new millennium packing house, the handing on the field, the piñateo harvesting process. We also do scissoring on the flowers of the bananas. As I mentioned, today I'm not going to go further on the concepts, but I'm going to enable any single person who is watching me right now to come to our farm, because that way you will be able to see whatever you want. The Mamantis plantis, which is basically the complete plant. We leave the complete banana plant in order to be able to eat. Once you cut the banana bunch, the banana plant will die, and it will get all of its nutrients to the next generation. So what we expect is that by maintaining this amamantis, all of the nutrients, 100% of the nutrients and the water suministros, sorry for the Spanish, uh, to go from the mother plant to the next generation. We also created a project in which Rebecca actually participated with my brother, which involved the usage of drones for cigatoca control. Cigatoca conventionally in Costa Rica and in any other country of the world is being controlled spray, by spraying with the usage of airplanes. So it was a different technology being applied in order to reduce the amount of product being spent by over 20%, also reducing the amount of energy being spent, the fuels being spent without the usage of a pilot who might get an accident. We also have ozone, or we created an ozonized system in order to have ozonized water for pest control. And today it is being applied for our anti-COVID programs. We also pioneered in the usage of agricultural precision systems. The name of our agricultural precision system is Agritech Geo, because we believe that when you speak sustainable, it's not a matter of, just being organic. We actually don't believe that much in the organic processes. We believe that sustainability must go around giving back to the soil what you're removing due to the exporting. So we will never stop applying things that are mandatory for the field in order to express its potential. I'm not going to further on these other 3 points because I don't believe we have that much time. But one of the most, ¿cómo se dice ambicioso? One of our most ambitious projects for the year is an agroforestal banana project. I'm going to further on that eventually. When we speak about social responsibility, that's the funny thing about sustainability. Usually people use the concept of sustainable, the concept of organic, the concept of fair trade, for example, in order to make more money for what you're trying to produce. Because the whole idea is that you're trying to make something better to reduce the impact on the environment. But I will encourage you to ask. I don't know if in Brazil you know any banana growers, any organic banana growers, to ask them how many boxes per hectare are they producing? How much, which is the gap between the productivity and the amount of money that they are receiving for their banana boxes? Because I have never seen an organic grower who is, for example, who is wealthy enough to say that he can travel to several countries throughout the year. Just to state something, an idea that I have on my mind. And also you can say, or for example, if you want to compare a company or the concept of Varcli, of sustainable Varcli, against an organic banana plantation, we spent 100 hectares to produce 400,000 banana boxes, which in an organic business, they will need to spend at least 200 hectares. So when you speak about reducing the impact, which company is making it, is improving the concept or the preservation of the environment. Varcli, which can spend 100 hectares for forest preservation, or an organic company which has a monocultive of 200 hectares. Okay, also taking or coming back to the social responsibility, we have the highest average wages in the industry. Thanks to our high productivity, we're actually able to pay more to our workers without the necessity of being organic or fair trade or having to receive more money for our banana boxes than any other regular banana plantation. We have an active concept of internships with ISEC, which at least 4 or 5 students yearly come to our farm in order to have this impact, in order to apply what they learned in their studies. We have donations for the communities. We have a forest preservation ratio of 1:1, so 1 hectare of bananas per 1 hectare of forest preservation. We also help students of universities to do their final projects. We support and collaborate the children of our workers in order to be able to let them study more, in order to have a better future. We also have agricultural practices which lower the physical impact of our workers. We actively are working with the Pacuare Reserve. As I mentioned, they have the second biggest hatching point for the leatherback turtles all around the world. And also well, in my personal case, I work for the Turtle Love Project, which actually in year 2019, they were able to save over 60,000 turtles. This is a very important number for us. And the other important thing about this project is that they just spent $20,000 in order to be actually able to save this amount of turtles. So if you want to participate, if you want to donate, I'm always encourage you to do it. Because yes, they want to work further. Yes, they want to save as many turtles as they can. We also have the lowest herbicide use for weed control in the banana business. So as I mentioned, we don't want to be organic. We want to reduce the amount of chemicals used to the minimal without affecting our potential. We also use biological borders in order to prevent the products we applied on the field to affect any other areas, such as rivers, such as roads or whatever. And we also protect the canals that go around the farm with organic endemic vegetation. To the left, these are all the certifications that we have, from Global Gap to, Walmart certifications, Rainforest Alliance, SMETA. But for me, it's more important to state a fact that green might be a trend. So we do these certifications just because our clients ask us to do them. But sustainability must be a mindset. So if you are sustainable to the core, it doesn't matter whichever certification someone asks you to do, because eventually you just do minimal changes to the way you're working and you will be able to get them. So I can say that we have zero comments or notifications by Global Gap for 7 years in a row. Same for Rainforest Alliance, same for SMETA. So these are certifications that have enabled us to say that our concept is sustainable. We are working towards a new certification that we met this year, which is called Alliance for Water Stewardship, which is AWS by the letters, which is basically sustainability around water, to use water in a correct way. And also go towards fair trade, because as I mentioned, so we already have the highest wages in the banana business, but we have never needed to say it out loud in order to do it. We just do it because it's important to actually give a good life to our workers. Oof. And when we speak about projects for the 2020 and 2021, yes, in our concept of sustainability, if you don't grow, eventually you will die. So we are working towards our 150 hectares of banana plantation. Actually, this year, we were able to plant an additional 15 hectares. Next year, 2021, hopefully we will reach those 150 hectares, enabling us to have at least 10 containers of bananas with this concept of sustainable. We are developing our water purification or residual water purification system. We are already starting our turtle love dock. We are going to spend something like $14,000 for $40,000 for an off-grid solar energy system. We're going to renew what we have already established on our farm. We are going to develop a mobile ozonization system for pest control, for cigatoca control. We also have new innovations towards the drones that we use for cigatoca control. We are going to develop an oasis for banana varieties, because people usually have started to say that the monoculture of Cavendish bananas is on the brink of extinction due to a fungi that is called Fusarium. So what we're trying to develop is an study on new varieties of bananas or non-conventional bananas, which have a good flavor and which will enable us to have options in case the TR4, the Fusarium, comes to Costa Rica. And of course, the agroforestal banana plantation. I'm going to further on this concept because it's actually a really interesting thing. When you speak about agroforestal, it's literally having a banana plant on the forest. The whole concept around the agroforestal bananas goes around the idea that before being a monoculture, the bananas grew on the wilderness. So what will happen if you have a banana on the forest? Actually, there have been some universities that have been going around this concept, but Varcli is going to be the first banana company which is spending its land in convention or in alliance with Agrofer, which is one of our clients, in order to give this or to give to this project a new way, to give us an option to go against the monoculture of bananas. In Varcli's case, what you're seeing here right now is the extension of our farm. Also, it's very important to state that we are 10 minutes from the beach. So if you want to come, do come, because Costa Rica is beautiful and we have really good food and really good seafood, by the way. So we have 3 selected areas that are going to be our project for agroforestal. Hopefully, in order to, as I mentioned, have an organic option for Costa Rica, because agroforestal is not able to have control for cigatoca by airplane or drones. And also agroforestal would expect that the biomass that is around this forest will enable the bananas to grow in a correct way with the correct productivity. Okay. Let me go back to the... Okay, dejar de compartir. Okay. So I don't have anything else to say around the presentation, so I'm really open for Rebecca to actually come back and do some questions. So if anyone has any kind of questions, I'm open to whatever you want.
Hello. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was amazing, seriously. And I just keep reminding about everything, like with the turtles. I get to work with the turtles. They are beautiful and amazing. It was awesome. And we do have some questions here. So we're going to show them in Portuguese, and then I will translate in English also. Vou falar em português agora, rapidinho, gente. Só recapitulando tudo que ele falou, era a temática da gente era um comentário que eu ouvi com o pessoal da agroindústria aqui no Maranhão, que foi perguntando como é que era para ser sustentável plantando banana. E aí ele falou isso, né? Quero saber como ser sustentável plantando banana. E aí, ironicamente, eu estava perto disso, e aí eu lembrei de tudo que a gente trabalhou e desenvolveu lá. E aí a
Perfect.
primeira pergunta que veio através do Instagram tem a ver com isso. E eu vou fazer a pergunta, Carlos, se você puder colocar a pergunta aqui na tela, por favor. Ok. Por que plantar bananas não seria sustentável? E aí eu vou só
Okay.
adiantar um pouquinho essa resposta, só adiantar um pouquinho, lembrando, pesquisem, perdão, barulho, pesquisem como que se planta banana aqui no Brasil, principalmente, na região onde você estiver, e depois voltem a assistir esse vídeo. You did everything?
I do
Is
understand the
okay the
question,
question?
so
Okay.
I can answer the question if you let me. Don't worry.
Yes.
I do understand a little
Please.
bit of Portuguese. A little bit. Okay, so ¿por qué plantar bananas no sería sustentable? Oh, okay. As I mentioned before, the concept of sustainability usually goes around the idea that you need to compensate what you are taking out of whatever you do. Somehow, the idea of organic bananas is what have been being sold to the people as the sustainable way to eat bananas, because they say that they are reducing the impact on the environment. What I would like to state is that our sustainable way to do bananas goes further than that. So I met a guy last year who said that sustainability is just not enough, because now we need to speak about compensation, not compensation, but regeneration of what you're removing out of the soil. So our sustainability concept takes that on account. So we are expecting to do a banana business which not only eliminates the concept, such as residual waters, the use of solar energy, lower pesticide use, but we do expect to compensate and actually give more to the environment. So usually, just to state or to make a comparison between the conventional bananas or sustainable bananas concept, in a field, you would use herbicides to just have the banana, the banana plant, and remove every single kind of grass because they say that there is some competition around. When we stop the usage of herbicides for the grass control and we started using mowers in order to have a grass covering on the field, what we actually were able to get was more than what we expected. Because they said that there is a competition for the fertilizers. So you apply fertilizers on the soil and you will have competition between the grass and the banana plant. But actually this covering, you have them, they are organic matter that you are giving back to the soil. So you are actually not compensating what you removed, but actually giving more to the soil. So it's a way of regeneration. That's a concept that we are trying to develop here. So bananas can be sustainable. The only thing is that you need to make them cost effective in order to be sustainable, in a way.
That's true. Próxima pergunta, que também é do Instagram. A gente teve mais perguntas no Instagram do que aqui. Qual que é a próxima? Sustentabilidade na agricultura é sempre relacionado à agrofloresta?
No. No. Ok, agrofloresta es una idea, ¿verdad? O sea, es como una alternativa. What they are trying to develop through the agroforestal is to find an organic way without spending for chemicals, fertilizers, and pest control with chemicals or whatever. Thanks to the relationship between the living organisms on the soil, on the forest, and the relationship with the bananas. We don't believe that sustainability needs strictly to be focused on agroforestas. Okay.
Ok. That was good. Próxima. Já tem mais 2 perguntas. Existe sustentabilidade trabalhando com alimentos transgênicos?
Essa é uma pergunta muito boa. El concepto, un concepto de transgénicos, ¿verdad? Básicamente es modificación molecular de una, pues, del ADN, ¿verdad? Of the DNA of the plants, well, or whatever you're going to do, right? Personally speaking, I can say that I'm speaking for the whole banana business. The banana, the Cavendish banana, is basically, you know, a clone. They made one banana and they eventually started making offshoots of this banana. So all of them are like siblings, not transgenic in a way, but actually people are evaluating in China the creation of a modified banana in order to fight against this TR4, the Fusarium rasa 4, which is actually a fungi that is destroying thousands of hectares of bananas in China, in Colombia, in Africa, and well, almost every country, every continent except for America. Colombia is a little bit last year, so that's why I'm still saying that America doesn't have TR4, but actually we do have it. I believe that life is something like you need to apply the concept, you know, of how you manage a farm, such as the way you manage yourself. So, for example, take on count the idea of the pandemic, because it's, you know, that the modern thing to speak about. If you have a flu, you will usually try to, you know, drink a hot tea with lemon or something like that. You won't be doing things such as, you know, taking a pill. But eventually, if you get the coronavirus, you will most likely go, and if it goes like really bad, you will really need to go to the hospital where you will be injected with many chemicals in order to try to save your life. So that's basically the concept that we're trying to say. O sea, it's not that transgenic are bad or good, but it depends on the condition where you are, you know. If the only way to save the world would be the usage of transgenics, maybe, you know, that's what we need to do. If the only way to cure yourself from coronavirus is to, you know, take a vaccine, well, come the vaccine. But just when you need it, okay? It's important to state that fact, just when you need it.
Sim. Eu vou pegar um pouquinho e responder um pouquinho dessa pergunta também, já que eu tenho um local de fala aqui neste momento. A pergunta é: existe sustentabilidade trabalhando com alimentos transgênicos? E eu posso dizer que o alimento transgênico, ele foi pensado para ser sustentável. Então, quando a gente fala de um transgênico que não é sustentável, a gente está falando de plantações de grandes monopólios que acabam vendendo não apenas a modificação, mas os agrotóxicos que eles também devem utilizar. E isso é uma problemática real, principalmente para a gente que está aqui no Brasil. Hoje a gente vê, assim, num caminho de 1.000 quilômetros, a gente andando carro, e no caso vendo só as plantações de soja, etc., e com certeza todas eles transgênicas e utilizando o mesmo veneno, digamos assim. Mas o conceito de transgênico é fazer as modificações necessárias, por exemplo, o exemplo do feijão da Embrapa. O feijão modificado da Embrapa contém muito mais minerais, vitaminas, e cresce em solos muito mais, em condições ambientais mais extremas, por exemplo, com a relação da umidade do solo, a umidade do ar, a quantidade de raios solares que recebem. Então, foi feito um estudo de anos, de 10 a 12 anos de pesquisa, para que se chegasse num produto que seja seguro e que, ao mesmo tempo, seja por uma razão específica. Então, no local específico em que se necessita, porque a população não tem acesso a essas vitaminas, porque é melhor crescer dessa forma por conta do solo. Então, é sustentável crescer dessa forma. Mas quando a gente monopoliza tudo, né, infelizmente a ganância sempre fala mais alto. Então, a gente, enquanto biotech, tem que pesar muito essas questões, né, que a gente fala que trabalhar, por exemplo, na Monsanto, enfim, vou falar, não sei se eu posso falar, mas é isso, é como se fosse vender a sua alma, né, porque você faz biotecnologia para ser sustentável e acaba trabalhando num lugar que a gente sabe que não zela pela sustentabilidade e não é sustentável, né. Falei bastante. Próxima pergunta. A gente ainda tem pergunta. Temos. Você acha que o modelo criado na Costa Rica poderia ser implementado em terras brasileiras ou em outros países da América Latina?
Excellent.
That's the
Thank you
last
for the
one.
question. Actually, that's a really beautiful question to answer because I'm going to go further to the past. So in 2017, I believe it was the first time that I traveled to Spain in order to try to sell our bananas. Happy day. Really good trip that one. The problem with this travel was that I was with this concept that I'm going to sell my bananas because they are sustainable, because they are, global gap and rainforest. So I'm going to sell everything. That was a happy day for Felipe. When I reached to Spain, it was terrible, terrible. Because I met this barrier, like they say, okay, if you're not organic for trade, you're conventional. So it doesn't matter if you are sustainable because you will always be in this case of that conventional way to grow bananas, because the organic and the fair trade are the way to do bananas without doing impact. Or that's what people think when they buy bananas in the supermarket. Or that's what the market is trying to say to you, right? Funny thing about the bananas being organic, first, people think that when they eat organic, what they are doing is improving their condition for their body because they are not eating pesticides. In the banana case, it's actually fun because when you eat a conventional banana, let's put the name conventional, right? When you peel the banana and you eat the content on the inside, actually there are no chemical residues. So we have made a study for like 15 boxes of bananas with and without the peel, and they don't have any kind of chemicals, so it's actually crazy that people think that when they are eating organic, it's better than eating conventional. But going to the answering of the question, what made me confused, or what the question that had happened to me was, okay, why people value the concept of organic, or how was this concept created, developed, and thrown into the people's mind, such as, well, organic and fair trade. So these are, certifications that one can get, and you will expect to have a higher price for the bananas. So what do we need to do? So I'm going to answer with a question. What do we need to do in order to actually make sustainable bananas, or Varcli sustainable bananas, to actually be able to become a trend, or to become something that people actually started speaking about and thinking about? And, well, let's choose sustainable bananas instead of organic bananas, or something like that. So yes, the other concept, or the other answer to the question, is that we have no patents at all of any of all the things that we are doing, because my father strongly believes that the knowledge must be shared, and the idea of sustainability must be for all. So we don't know how to do it. My brother is working on a way to do it, because we do want that the concept of Varcli, the new Millennium Package System, to be used by any to whomever wants to do it in Costa Rica, in Brazil, in Ecuador, Nicaragua, or whichever country. So that will be the answer to the question.
Okay, that was super amazing. I guess that's it. We have no questions anymore. Gente, só para finalizar aqui, esse assunto, quando eu trago ele e a gente debateu um pouquinho disso no nosso primeiro webinar, que a sustentabilidade, ela muitas vezes está em pequenas ações do nosso cotidiano, que se a gente modificar um jeitinho de fazer uma coisa pequena, já faz um grande impacto, porque somos muitos, né? E todo mundo reproduzindo acaba fazendo um impacto muito grande. O Felipe e Varcli estão mais do que convidados a fazer parte da rede Ampla Biotec e se juntar a gente nessa jornada aí pela sustentabilidade e propor biotecnologias para o mundo, principalmente para a gente da América Latina, sempre. E eu gostaria que você finalizasse um pouquinho, falasse as últimas palavras e aí a gente encerra.
Perfecto. Ok, so, a ver, eu vou procurar falar um pouquinho de português, pero mais só um pouquinho. A coisa mais importante quando você procura trabalhar hacia o towards sustentabilidade, espero estar falándolo bien, ¿verdad? Y también ser feliz. I don't know how to say that in Portuguese. Be happy. You know,
Tá certo,
quando
ser
você
feliz,
está
tá certo.
feliz, sí, ser feliz, ¿verdad? Quando você está feliz en las coisas que você hace, pratica, vive, o sea, isso também é parte da sustentabilidade. O sea, se você faz coisas que não se sentem bem, ou bem, isso não é sustentabilidade. Sustentabilidade nasce de uno, ¿ok? E não, também cordialmente invitados a nossa finca. Ajá. Cuando vocês quieran y cuando ya esto de la pandemia se acabe, las puertas abiertas, vengan, conozcan. Costa Rica tem a melhor comida do mundo, mais que Perú, estoy convencido.
Verá, verá.
Entonces, mucho gusto.
Graças, Mai, por a vida. E
Pura vida.
um abraço, gente, para quem ficou, para quem gostou, para quem não conseguiu ficar até o final, vai ficar tudo salvo. E a gente se vê daqui a 15 dias com outra temática. Fiquem ligados e não esqueçam de se inscrever e ativar o sininho para sempre lembrar quando eu tiver live. Obrigada, graças, bye,
Obrigado. Pura vida.
pura vida.